Do you want to see what I have underneath here? I know you do.
You're talking to the audience, right?
Um,
Oh, Marcus says he has great timing. There you go. Oh my gosh. This is a whole other 2022 end of year show than we had planned. Hey, welcome back to another episode of 1980s Now, a weekly examination of the importance of 1980s pop culture and its influence right now, today, this day. My name is Will, and joining me as always are my co-hosts, and they're also my friends, and I tried to not look at the paper, and it just goes off the rails, as if I haven't read it nearly 200 times now. Kat and John, there you go. Hey, guys.
hi, guys.
Hey there. Merry Christmas. Just
yeah.
belated, I guess. And almost New Year. Yeah.
Happy early New Year.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, everything that you celebrate. We are happy for you to do that. And hey, don't forget, in addition to his co-hosting duties here, John also hosts his very own grown-up, very adult podcast. Must be. I'm guessing from the name. I've never heard it, but it's called Gen X Grown Up.
See?
So it must be about
You're too kind.
cats making noises in front of the microphone.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Show us the T-shirt that no one else can see, except our Facebook Live audience right now, because we are recording this episode live on Facebook as we close out the year that is, or that was, 2022.
I'll try not to get kicked off.
Yeah. So, folks, if you're joining us in the stream and you haven't already, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give StreamYard permission for Facebook to share its comments with us, because we're on a different software. Because it couldn't be just a simple thing, and Facebook couldn't just get its act together and make it.
Nope.
No. All right. Well, whatever.
Special permissions.
Yeah. All right. And that's that. Okay. I'm taking that off so I could see you guys a little bit bigger than I see you right now. Ooh. Okay. Hey, so on today's show, look, this is what we're going to do, guys. As we go through the year, and every episode as we produce it, we do a couple of things, right? We decide on topics. We may have an interview, a celebrity or an academic of some sort to come and talk on some kind of 1980s issue. But with every episode, regardless, we talk about current 1980s news, right? So
Every time. Almost every time.
And I'm going to say for the entire year, except for the last, 3 weeks, there's an abundance of stories related to 1980s media that, I don't know. We've been having to shake the trees and dearth. I don't know what accounts for that, except I guess maybe everything winds down even as the year comes to a close, just like other businesses, maybe.
Perhaps.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yep.
But so that's one reason we're doing this today. But the other reason is just because, I don't know, I thought it would be fun. So because there's usually so many stories, we have the luxury of saying we're not going to talk about this one because it's not as interesting. So what we did is take the lesser interesting.
So we've saved all the trash for you.
To give it to you all at once.
Closet.
I'm sure there's some kind of metaphor for that, right? You got some horrible thing you need to do. Do it all at once. Just get it done. So we have roughly here a dozen, slightly more than a dozen or so 1980s news stories that we just skipped over. Maybe you'll see why, or maybe you'll be like, "Hey, there could be something that's interesting to you."
Is it a baker's dozen? Or is it
Yeah, it's a baker's dozen. That's true. You're right.
Beautiful.
Baker's dozen.
Nice.
And they're all related to the 1980s, just like all the time we talk about it.
We see you, Kathleen.
Oh,
Yeah. Hey,
I was just
Kathy.
typing that. Nice.
Oh, yeah?
StreamYard's acting weird. Oh. Hey, Kyle's here. He says, hello, homies.
Homies.
I'm a homie now. I like that.
So I'm going to look at my board here, and I'm going to read the one that says announce, because John wisely told me to make this one announce, so I don't press the wrong thing. Okay, before we get to the 1980s news, a quick announcement. There it is.
Nice.
So, look, we're taking January off. That's the announcement. Okay.
Oh.
All of January?
Well, it might be the whole year and maybe forever. It depends on you listeners. If you want us to come back, right? I'm sorry, guys, to break it to you this way. This is the biggest news story of 2022.
This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Marcus is not going to be happy. He said he really enjoyed the interview for free show last week. More of this trio.
Oh, yes.
And less superfluous
Well,
random.
Marcus is a Patreon supporter, so we're going to listen to what he says.
Superfluous randos.
so-
That's everyone
Say
but
more,
us.
Marcus.
And Marcus, we're going to turn Patreon off for the month of January, so you don't have to pay for nothing. Just as an aside. But hey, my Aunt Teresa's here. Hey, I feel we're saying just say hi, Teresa. That's my aunt. My Aunt
Hi,
Teresa.
Aunt
Hey,
Teresa.
how are you?
Oh, look.
Yeah. So look, this happened. We did this during the summertime too. There's just an opportunity to recoup and recover and plan. And sometimes, and John can attest to this, although he is really good at doing a lot at one time. And I've said this many times. I aspire to be John.
Me
He's a
too.
little older than I am, so you aspire to be John too.
When I'm your age,
Yes. But just it's hard to do, I guess try to develop new things at the same time you're taking care of the things you do, routinely every week as well.
Yes, yes.
And maybe to Marcus's dismay, there's still some guests I'm trying to get, so there's some work involved in that. But research, reading, lots of things. But yeah, I appreciate that you said that, Marcus. My wife says the same thing. She says, I skip the interviews. You guys are great. When someone else gets involved, it's fine. Unless you really want to hear the person. And I get that. There's podcasts I listen to where I love the people. That's why I go to it. And if they do a segment that's specific to a TV show or movie that I'm interested in, I stop listening at that point. And that's fine. I can still get 30, 40 minutes of, banter. That's fun.
I love hearing the interviews.
Yeah.
Because I love hearing Will do an interview.
Oh, thanks, Kat. Well, you know what? One of the things I thought about doing was maybe we should just split it up, right? We have our show regularly, and if I get an interview, that'll just be a bonus episode that week or something like that.
Oh, interesting.
more content means more fun.
Marcus agrees with Mrs. Will. Okay, well, that's cool. Whatever, Marcus. Hey, Marcus, again, he's a Patreon supporter, so yeah. And
He's
I
the
always
boss.
agree with Mrs. Will as well.
Mrs. Will has excellent taste, I will say. Yeah.
Thanks, John. I
Oh,
know
the
that
blue
was a compliment
background.
for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were complimenting her on a choice of spouse. All right, hey, let's not
That
put
too,
this off.
yeah.
I don't think there's anything else to talk about, right? So, yeah, January will be off. We'll be back. If we're not back by the end of January, we'll be back certainly at the beginning of February. So this will be our last episode of the year.
All right.
All right, hey, let's play a theme and let's put that little wheel on the screen. I'll explain you how this is going to work here. All right, so let's get caught up on 1980s news from 2022, like whatever was left. Okay, so here, I'm going to add this little wheel to the screen here. Hopefully,
The
folks
dustbin.
could see
There it
this at
is.
home. Maybe, Kat, if I don't, you could help me take that off the screen when we're talking. So
Okay. I'll try to.
if I don't,
that.
I'll try to remember to.
Collaboration.
All right.
Kat.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I should put this. Let's just zoom in on this right now. So, right. So we got our baker's dozen of stories here. You know what? I'm not even going to tell you what they are. We'll just spin the wheel. Something will come up, and then we'll talk about that then.
I'm ready.
All right.
All
Kathy
right.
sagoing the backgrounds look like school picture day.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah, I think so too. That's funny. Yeah, it's true. All right. Okay. Let's see. Let's spin the wheel and see what we're going to talk about here. You might not be able to hear the
Nice.
little sound or not. But
Yeah,
Clickety-click,
we hear it.
click,
Okay,
click,
okay,
click.
good. The greatest 1980s horror.
Oh.
All right. So yeah. So
All right.
now I got to go through my stack here. Hang on. You guys can just talk amongst
Shuffle,
yourselves.
shuffle. We can hear the shuffling.
This just in. Let me go to the teletype.
I can show you some stuff that's near my desk. Look what I found.
Oh, that's a puzzle orb thing.
Yeah,
Orbeez
orb.
or something? What's that called? Orb. Yeah.
Not Orbeez. Those are those are nuisance.
That's the things you soak in water that make them.
Yes.
Look.
Is this the
Icky,
one
right.
that get eaten by
Yep.
my printer?
I think I used to know how to solve this.
That would be
Orbeez are
funny.
the non-edible version of
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
boba balls or whatever they're called.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. I don't recognize that. Is that like a vintage type puzzle of some
It's
sort?
vintage. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
From the 80s.
Circa 83, I'm gonna guess.
How do you even? What's the mechanics of that?
You.
So there
twirl.
are 4 tracks, and you can rotate the ball to make the tracks not be concentric circles, but to be serpentine.
He said that
Oh.
much better than I could have.
There you go.
See, I
See,
just
now it's
clickety-clacked
a
it.
serpentine.
That is
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of.
So you're trying to line up the colors?
Yeah. Well, see, right now everything turns at the same time, Kat, because you have it in serpentine mode.
Yeah.
I need some WD-40 on this thing.
Oh yeah. Huh.
There we go.
WD-40. Damn, girl, get my keys.
I gotta have
Tell you what.
when John makes a reference that when we don't have no clue what he's talking about, but that cat it goes along with it. I don't have a
he-
sound for that. I don't know.
He used a funny voice. You can make up one during
But
January.
you know, there's something more to it. John
I
is
do.
steeped in pop culture lore and memes and.
I'm a
He is.
fountain of useless information. That's
He
correct.
is. And remember, I got to keep John happy. So I'm just going to laugh
That's
at
right.
all his
Okay,
jokes,
good. Very good.
even
Okay.
if I don't get them, right?
Keep the
All right.
slow monkey happy. Absolutely.
All right, cool. So here's the story here. So per Dread Central, TikTok has rediscovered this strange and shocking horror film from the 1980s. Now, look, the way this piece from Dread Central reads is that, look, it's no surprise that folks on TikTok wouldn't necessarily be aware of a film from the 1980s. But I had no clue about this either. And apparently, you know, according to these folks and some videos I've watched about it, it may be the greatest horror movie never seen. But this was brought to this writer's attention by TikTok user Mandy Morg 87. And Mandy Morg 87 was writing referring to the 1988 Canadian nightmare, Pin. John, are you aware of Pin?
Yeah, I haven't
my
seen
God.
it, but I've seen the trailer.
Okay.
Is this the medical dummy
Yes,
thing?
yes.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my goodness.
Yes. Yeah,
I had
Pin.
no idea about this.
So
Also-
creepy.
Also titled Pin, A Plastic Nightmare. In the film, Dr. Frank Linden, played by Terry O'Quinn, who was, you know, a big star on Lost. You know, he's the guy who winds up being the bad guy, I suppose. Sort of. I
Spoiler
don't know.
alert.
I don't remember how it works. He wasn't really, and then he was. I don't know.
You
It's a
can't
different
spoil
guy?
Lost.
I think the smoke monster makes itself look like him. So I don't know. Whatever. That's the whole thing. Anyway,
I gave up
in
on
this
Lost.
movie, the doctor uses like John said, an anatomically correct dummy he named Pin to teach his children Leon and Ursula about the human body through ventriloquism. Now you know you're in trouble.
Oh,
If it's 1980s and the movie has ventriloquism,
It's nearly a puppet movie. Oh, my
Yes.
God, I'm so excited.
Magic. The trailers for Magic come to mind. Those I
Yes,
never saw Magic,
yeah.
but those scared the shit out of me on TV
Oh,
when I
that's
was a
good,
kid.
too.
Right. Anyway, through ventriloquism, the doctor uses Pin to interact and connect with his children. Alrighty, dude, you shouldn't be doing that. That's messed up. But Leon, the son, becomes obsessed with the dummy to the point he convinces himself that Pin is real. Plus, this fake dummy is Pin's only real friend. Is Leon's only real friend. So, Leon, look, you thought it was weird already, right? Here-
oh no. Okay.
According to this, Leon also witnesses a nurse have a sexual interaction with the doll, which further confuses him and has a lasting impact on his psyche. I guess it said anatomically correct. I mean, that wasn't in the trailer, so I don't know what that. Anyway, so this guy Leon, as he grows up, his obsession with this doll continues. And the video I watched that was talking about how fantastic this movie is, they show the doll. It's really a fantastic looking doll. It has transparent skin, so you can see its organs. So it's really creepy.
Whoa.
But then this kid, as he gets older, he paints it like with a flesh tone. So
Puts hair on it?
He puts
Yeah.
a wig on it. And dresses it in his dead father's clothes because at some point Terry Quinn is killed. O'Quinn is killed by. The doll's not alive, but in the movie they make it seem like it's alive just by nature of sort of happenstance. So it's in the back seat of the car. He didn't know it was there, so it starts bobbing around. It scares the crap out of him. He crashes the car. That kind of thing.
Oh my gosh.
And just when you thought it couldn't get any creepier,
Yeah.
There's more?
he is also like super creepily possessive of his sister. And anytime she shows an interest in men, he gets super jealous. The man, not
Okay.
the doll.
Yeah. The doll. The doll. The jealous doll.
I'd forgotten about this until I saw it on
Okay.
our list. And then I went and said, how can I watch this movie now? Because I never saw it, but I saw the trailer and I'm like,
Oh.
this is the kind of, like Magic. This is the kind of creepy, stupid, like mind beep, you know, the kind of thing that you absolutely, I would love. So, and it was
Pass.
80, when did it come out? 83, 4?
88.
88.
Yeah.
How'd I miss it?
was,
Straight to
yeah.
the video, probably.
Right. Probably. Yeah. And it says it's a Canadian film. I don't know that necessarily means it wouldn't have been distributed here. But you're right. I was at 17 years old, 18 years old. I was really big into horror films and going to the theater to see them.
No matter what it was.
Yeah. I probably would have seen this one. Sandor
pass.
Stern, you'd pass, yeah.
Hard
Directed
pass.
the film. But it wasn't Sandor Stern's first venture into horror. He also penned the screenplay for 1979's Amityville Horror and went on to direct another sequel to Amityville in 1989. The film itself is based on a novel by Andrew Niederman, who penned it as ghostwriter for V.C. Andrews after her death. It says, comments on the above TikTok make reference to the novel and how it's shockingly more upsetting than the film. So if you really want to get messed
novel.
up, read the book.
Well, yeah, books are always better.
Okay,
better.
I'll contribute 2 hours to it. I'm not going to contribute 2 weeks to it. Sorry, that's all you get.
Yes, and actually with the book you'd miss this, but guess who does the voice of Pin? Jonathan Banks.
Really?
Actor, yes. Who's been with
Yes.
us for in our lives since as early as as early as Pin, but certainly throughout the 1980s played a number of heavies in different films, including Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh,
And
okay.
most recently had a starring role in both Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul as Mike
Mike.
Hermantraub. All right, hey, let's spin the wheel. Let's see what we
Yeah.
got here.
All right, here we go.
Let's go back to
Get
the
away
wheel
from
here.
Pin.
Let's see. Hopefully this wheel give us something else here. Wheel. Give us the same crap.
No whammies, no whammies.
Oh,
Ooh.
this is fine. Look again. We're
Oh,
getting rid of these stories. I'm like, this is a story we could.
What a treat.
This is just
Why are we
check.
talking about this? But, yeah, now I remember. So earlier this year, Sony Pictures Home Entertainment released the Ghostbusters: The Ultimate Collection. Now there was a bit of a controversy involving that because I think at first it didn't have the 2016 version, and people were up in arms about, well, what is that saying if it's the Ultimate Collection? And rightly so. You know, it's either Ghostbusters or it's not, right? So they
Says
did
you don't like women. That's what it means.
exactly. There's only one explanation. But ultimately, they rectified that, and they had it. They did. It's now part of the collection going forward. But it also included a number of new, bonus scenes, features, commentaries, behind-the-scenes looks, all these kinds of things, and deleted scenes. So one of the things that was included on there was a deleted scene where Lewis, and we're talking about Ghostbusters 2, Lewis meets with his cousin, Sherman Tully, who's played by Eugene Levy. Eugene Levy. Eugene Levy. Eugene Levy. Jeez, I always get this. Somebody's
wheel.
somebody's a
Spin the
Schitt's Creek. Next story.
I think you're right. It's Eugene
No,
Levy.
I
But-
meant to pick
but
the
I've
pronunciation.
always called him Eugene Levy my entire life, and just a couple weeks ago, I heard someone call him Levy, who would know better, and I'm like, maybe I've been wrong.
Oh, all
Yeah,
right.
you know, I've heard it more often in connection with his son now because he's a big star, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I hear Levy all the time.
Okay.
I
I'm
do,
still waiting for
yeah.
someone to type in the comments, and everyone else is dumbfounded too, so no one's saying anything. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. Hey, you're not the
They're all
host
like,
of the show,
who's
so-
Eugene Levy? We have no idea.
Now, see, that sounded right.
I
It
would
does,
say
but I think it's
Levy.
wrong. That's
Right.
what I always said.
It must, that's what I would say, but that doesn't mean it's right.
Dang it.
Therefore, it's
Anyway,
probably wrong because I
anyway, Eugene, the senior of the Levies or Levies, played this character, Lewis Tully's cousin. So there was a scene that was deleted, and it's on this now. And it's been on the internet for a while, so you could actually just see it on YouTube or something if you want. But what it didn't include, though, to some fans' disappointment, was a look at a long-rumored scene that had Ray get possessed.
Oh.
Now, apparently, you can see glimpses of this scene in a 1980s commercial for Coca-Cola.
Oh.
For which Run DMC did the music. So it's a montage for this Coca-Cola commercial. You've got Run DMC who did a song for the Ghostbusters. And in that, you see clips of Ray's possession. But that's it. That's the only look we've got. Except for, as this, I think this is from Comic Book Resources, they point out that if you really wanted to look at this scene, because it wasn't included in this DVD or this video compilation earlier this year, you can look at 1989's Now Comics adaptation of the film, which starred the real Ghostbusters, if you remember that cartoon from TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
And John, you and I have talked about this before. I won't remember it because I do not retain stuff like you do. I read it and forget it and then do something else the next week.
Okay.
But we have
No
the real
pressure.
Ghostbusters because Filmation had the Ghostbusters
Right.
as a TV show, which was based on the Ghostbusters TV show from the, I don't know, the 60s.
The
that
live
had-
action TV show.
Yeah.
Right.
Larry Storch and
Mhm.
I don't know. I can't remember who else was on that.
That's some
Larry
other guy.
Storch and was
Yeah,
it
but-
Chuck? What's his name that was on the other show with the robot and the Chuck Wagner maybe. I don't know. Anyway,
Not sure. Not
and
sure.
certainly Larry Storch and a gorilla, a guy in an ape suit. So they made this
That's right.
into a cartoon. Anyway, so to differentiate, because when the film Ghostbusters, did we even talk about this? I'm going off the rails. When Ghostbusters the movie came out, in short, Dan Aykroyd wanted to call it Ghostbusters, and they said, Sony said, "Hey, we don't have the rights to that name. Ghostbusters already is a TV show owned by this company." So they cut a deal with that company, that they could use the name for the film, but they could never use it for a cartoon. So Filmation makes makes Ghostbusters, and we get the real Ghostbusters. Anyway, whatever. I always thought that was kind of a slap in the face, like F you to the Ghostbusters cartoon.
Yeah. Now, speaking of this lost scene, though, is this the one that's in the comic book? Like, I might have seen some frames from it. Like, isn't he's like in the Ecto-1 and he's possessed and they're driving manically through the city? Is that okay?
That's exactly right. Yes.
All right.
So in the comic you see him. Let's see here. So as the Ghostbusters exit the Manhattan Museum of Art, Ray is now under the spell of Vigo, the Carpathian. And Ray, he says he's going to kill everyone. He wrecks the Ecto-1, like John explains. He was, he wound up trashing the Ecto-1. Eventually, Winston, the very sexy Winston, punches him in the face. Maybe it's just Ernie Hudson who's a sex appeal. Maybe not Winston. Punches him in the face. Those are Cat's words.
Yeah.
Ray then comes to his senses, questioning his actions, saying what happened, noting his love for the Ecto and his respect for fellow motorists. Yeah, it's one of those things like we talked about recently, right? It probably should have been cut. So good.
I have to tell you, most of the time I wasn't listening because I was looking up the proper pronunciation.
Okay.
You were stuck on Eugene Levy.
I was.
Yes.
Without interrupting the conversation with YouTube.
This is an alert. You should just be like, guys, stop. Next time.
Levy. Oh, thank you, Marcus. Yeah, Levy. Heavy. Yeah.
Really? So we were right. Okay.
We're right now. We were wrong the entirety of the rest of our lives. So I was. I always said Levy.
Oh,
no. That's what Marcus is saying. It's Levy.
Like Levy.
Oh, it is Levy like heavy.
Yeah.
Oh, so we
Levy
were
like
right.
heavy.
Not Levy. Oh, I thought it's pronounced like Heavy. But he was saying that was the word Heavy. Like, what's Heavy? Like, is there a better word than Heavy?
You read that as
Oh,
Heavy.
Eugene. Oh, Eugene.
That's how I remember it.
Heavy.
Yes. That's how I feel about how Kat feels about Ernie Hudson.
Did you
We
Heavy.
feel about
the postscript scene? We're going to live this down. Or post scene, whatever.
So,
that was.
Kat, do you concur? That's what you're saying too, Marcus. What Marcus says is what you found.
Yes.
Levy like heavy. Okay. Cool.
Yes, Levy like heavy.
Levy.
Yep.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yep.
All right. Let's spin the wheel.
No, that one's over? Oh,
Damn it, John.
You got any more
That's my-
Ghostbusters comments? Is that it?
no, I don't.
I'm sure there's plenty more to come, but not at the moment.
Oh, Tron series. You know why I'm glad this is on here so we could talk about it for 1 second and then move on. And the reason why that is because, and the reason why this one got cut is because, and I want to read you the line actually from the website here, is because the source on this one is giant freaking robot. You know, the let's say website equivalent of Doomcock.
Paragon of integrity.
Yeah, so this is one of those. What did John say? Like human centipede of pop culture. Giant freaking robot is either the head or ass, and Doomcock is the other, or they're both the same. I don't know, whatever. But
Eating is, yeah.
oh, see, Joe says drove to the Chevy to the Eugene Levy, but the levee was dry. Okay,
There you go.
Okay.
Yep.
huh. All right, that'll help.
Was that-
I'll remember
I
that.
think
Was
that's
that Chevy Chase drove Eugene to the...
Oh, now I'm confused.
Oh.
Now I should have had
Was
John.
it, is it
because-
Chevy or Chevy? No, I'm not sure
Well,
there.
I'm surprised John didn't say drove to the Chevy, to the Eugene Levy, but the Levy was dry.
To the Levy.
There's no A in that, though. It's clearly Chevy.
Okay. Kat, did you have a comment to make?
And I was going to say, I think Joe was picking a roundabout way of confirming
No.
her pronunciation there.
I'm feeling a
funny
bit
way.
heavy right
We
now.
know
sorry.
American
Pie, we know that joke.
We know.
Crying out loud. So Giant Freaking Robot says exclusive. This is from 4 months ago. Exclusive. Tron
Exclusive.
series in development for Disney Plus. This is the only part of the article I copied so I could read this to you. According to our trusted and proven sources.
Oh, no. That's it. So
Wait,
you
wait.
can-
I want to finish this story. Can I finish it?
Yeah.
End of line.
Perfect. Thank you. Perfect. So, by the way, there's no one else has picked up on this story, and nothing's been reported in 4 months about it. That tells you everything you need to know about the
Proven sources.
sources. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, the B-52s reflect.
Oh.
All right, so let's see what that's about here. Okay, so, yeah, I got that one here somewhere.
Tin roof.
There we go.
I keep hoping you'll forget to switch that back so I can figure out which one to press to make it go back.
You press on the one that it is. Like, you know?
Oh,
Kat,
Oh.
you just maintain your pronunciation research.
Yeah,
and
you.
we'll
That's
hand
That's
it
right.
probably
to
for the
StreamYard.
best.
I'm gonna mispronounce stuff on purpose now, so you could look it up.
oh, good. So I can get
All right.
distracted. Yeah.
All right. So the
The
B-52s,
B-52s.
yeah, said that they, quote, never set out to change people's lives, but it happens that way. And I will add, like John might say, hashtag humble brag. Hashtag rawr.
Oh, it's definitely a roar.
When Louvre Shark by the B-52s, John knows what I'm doing, began playing on MTV, it was not like anything else in rotation. But the mainstream caught on. Love Shack released in the summer of 1989. It became the group's biggest hit. Now, folks might not know, but the group came together after Schneider and Pearson moved from New Jersey, the center, where all great music is born, ultimately to Athens, Georgia, where the rest of the band grew up,
Where all great music goes to die.
except for them and I guess REM. I don't know.
Oh,
If you're a fan, I'm not a fan. I mean, I'm kind of a fan, partly a fan.
you better be at least partly a fan.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mrs. Will not like that. if
Mrs.
I'm not a
Will.
fan. Pearson says, according to Pearson, we never intended to start a band. Oh, I love stories like that.
Whoops.
You know, it's like, I don't know if you guys have had this experience, but I've always felt like not now, but when I was younger, I had a sense of where my life was going to go. I know. It was never good, by the way. It was always going to be a shit show. Like, I always thought something bad was right around the corner. But the reality is you don't know. And even though I believe in this idea that what you put out, you get back, and like we talked to Dee Wallace, this idea of affirmations, I believe in that stuff.
Okay.
But why I don't
So
have
what were you putting out?
that's what I was putting out. The expectation that bad things would happen. Lucy says the Indigo Girls are also from Athens. All right, so there you go. Add them to the
right.
list.
That's why that's
So ye sow,
familiar.
so shall ye reap.
Anyway, but it's like, do you feel like I don't know. It's kind of neat when you have these stories where folks they had no expectation they're going to be one of the biggest bands of that era. But anyway, they did.
Right.
Anyway, so this idea of not forming a band changed in the mid-1970s when Strickland snapped a guitar string. Quote, sometimes I would be sitting around playing the guitar and I would break a string and I wouldn't change it, I would just retune it, end quote. Well, hey, the next day, Strickland's best friend, Ricky Wilson, began playing it, missing string and all, and he said, I've written the most stupid guitar riff you've ever heard, end quote. That became the song Rock Lobster, their first song.
Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, in 1979, that was their first single with Ricky Wilson on guitar, Strickland on drums, Schneider as the lead singer, and Pearson and Ricky's little sister, Cindy Wilson, harmonizing. And there you go. You had the B-52s, which of course were named because of their bouffant hairdos that look like the nose cone of the
Yep.
famed bomber. Get something?
I just learned the lyric in Love Shack during the break.
yeah.
For my entirety of my life, I thought it was Henry Rastus. Like, it's clearly not that.
Who is Henry Rastus?
No idea. That was my question. Who the hell's Henry Rastus to the B-52s?
That's how I'm going to sing it from now on.
Okay.
It's not
So-
that. I now know.
Did you Google Henry Rastus? Because you're like, I have to help these people find him. They're still looking.
I went to IMDb looking for Henry Rastus.
Oh,
Oh, you did? You did.
no.
Yeah, couldn't find
You
him.
did.
I love that.
And it said, see
Is
something
he
else?
in the video? Who is he a producer? No.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that, but
So, okay. Now knowing what it is, John, what is it?
it's Tin Roof Rusted.
Yes.
Now, why do they
Because
say that?
It's a shack. It's
It's
the Love
the-
Shack.
The shack.
It's
Okay.
illustrating how broke down the Love Shack is, but it's still a
Okay.
place of joy, despite the fact it's ramshackle. So
Gotcha.
Nice.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
and
very
owned by Henry Rastus.
This little side note,
Yeah.
you know, Brown Eyed Girl, the song
Yeah,
Brown Eyed
of
Girl.
course.
That's been the popular one with my husband and I for such a long time. And then one day, within, I guess it was the past 2 years, he
Yeah.
came in the kitchen singing it. And he said, "Hey, Rodrigo."
Who's Rodrigo?
That's
Hey,
the
Rod-
brown-eyed girl. The brown-eyed girl's named Rodrigo.
It's the beginning part of "Hey, where did we go?"
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I
Oh,
know.
All
Yeah,
this
yeah.
time,
As the
all
rest of the
this
world
time,
knows it, yes.
"Hey, Rodrigo."
Oh, my God.
Henry
I love that.
Rastus's girlfriend.
You know, Kat and I did a misheard lyrics. I don't know, in April or so.
Yeah.
We got to do that again. There's so many
There's
we didn't
more.
do, but that was a lot of
There
fun.
was more. I love that.
Yeah. Marcus is asking, did you mind to butcher a Madonna song too? Almost. It's too much to go into here. It was actually a parody of a Madonna song that I mind butchered with lyrics.
And
That's
not
it.
Weird Al's parody though.
It is Weird Al's parody. yes.
Okay, not just any.
Yeah. I
parody.
misunderstood
Surgeon.
Like a Surgeon hilariously for years. Yeah.
Oh, I
We're
can't
not going
wait
to get to
hear
know.
this.
We're not going
We'll have to save that for another time. That's a tease.
All right,
That's when we come back in
2023.
February. Something's coming still.
If we
right?
come back, it's up to you, listener.
Well, I mean, Kat and I will be here. I don't know what's
Yes.
going to happen.
Or if I
We're-
come back.
We're gonna set up StreamYard and just hang out and wait for Will to show up.
I thought this was interesting that the with regards to Rock Lobster, John Lennon says that he found great inspiration from this song.
John
saying
Lennon?
that in his in what would be his final interview, Lennon told Rolling Stone's Jonathan Klott that Rock Lobster sounds like Yoko's music. I said to myself, I guess I said to myself, it's time to get out the old axe and wake the wife up.
That's a good Lennon. I'm
You know
impressed.
what?
That's good.
You know
Very
what's
good.
really interesting is I never thought about that, but in that song they do that kind of that is like Yoko's music.
Good point.
Wow.
I never saw that.
Nearly as good. Yes.
Yeah. They appeared on Saturday Night Live in 1980, and the band looks upon that as what made them, that performance. And it turns out that Kurt Cobain and Dave Grohl each individually saw it. And they each said that it blew their minds. Pearson said, quote, "We had no idea and never set out to change people's lives, but it happens that way." End quote.
That's cool. What lives to change there?
Yeah, right.
Rock
That's you can
Lobster.
put it that way.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else we can knock off the list here. What do we got here?
Mm.
Oh,
Burton slams nipples. Now, yeah,
but,
it does sound like Burton hurt himself, doesn't it?
yeah. Oh, darn, I was gonna do it.
So, you're gonna do what?
I was gonna switch it. You were too
Oh,
fast.
sorry.
Mm.
All right,
Denied.
I'll stop doing it. Per Variety, Tim Burton slams the studio for approving Batman's nipple suits after he left the franchise. So Tim Burton, this is after the new Batman movie came out. This article came out in Variety. Tim Burton finds it comical to see the Batman movie franchise embracing its darkest tones yet in Matt Reeves' Batman film, when that tone forced him out of the franchise following 1992's Batman Returns. Speaking to Empire Magazine, Burton revealed he has yet to see the film, but he noted he wanted to see it. He said, quote, "It's funny to see this now because all these memories come back of, quote, it's too dark. So it makes me laugh a little bit." Burton's Batman Returns was met with some resistance by Warner Brothers because of its dark tone, and the studio did not want to continue with Burton in a third film. Now we know that because ultimately he left and was replaced by Joel Schumacher, who went on in the completely opposite direction. And it's almost like they try to make live action contemporary versions of the 66 Batman, but also
Very campy.
missed the point of the 66 Batman.
Yeah.
66
Wow.
Batman was like successful in its, I don't know how it did what it did, where it was campy and yet younger kids could take it seriously and it could still have like gravitas for, you know what I mean? For children.
Yes.
Like I had moral lessons coming out of that. But as an adult, I see it now and now you see it as over the top. I don't know. But they just went for shtick in the Schumacher
Yeah.
films.
My favorite review ever of Batman and Robin was
Yeah.
a friend of mine, and I said, "How was it?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, if you're homesick and your car's broke down and it's on TV for free and it's
Oh.
raining outside and there's nowhere to go, read a book."
Oh my gosh.
Wow, that's a review.
Yeah.
So there's no circumstance under which one
There's
should
literally
watch this movie.
right,
Yeah.
none.
That
Unless you
is
want to see the bat
hilarious.
nipples, which maybe.
Yeah. So Burton goes on to say, back then they went the other way. I guess with Schumacher's take on the films. That's the funny thing about it. But then I was like, wait a minute. Okay, hold on a second here. You complain about me. I'm too weird. I'm too dark. And then you put nipples on the costume. Go fuck yourself. Seriously. So yeah, I think that's why I didn't end up doing a third film. End quote.
Your Burton impression not as strong as your Lennon, I should say.
I don't even know what he sounds like.
Not like that.
I've certainly heard it. I could do it as the Lennon though. Okay, hold on a second. You complain about me. I'm too weird, too dark, and then you put nipples on the costume. Go fuck yourself.
That's good.
As for adding the nipples to the costumes, it was the brainchild of Schumacher, who also put Sexy Sax Man in The Lost Boys.
Oh, wow.
Right? I mean,
Okay.
this guy had an eye for stuff. Oh. And it was all, and the franchise's lead sculptor Jose Fernandez. Speaking in Mel magazine, Fernandez said that the nipples worked far better in Batman Forever because they were less pronounced in the suit. But then he points out that in the next film, Schumacher loved the nipples so much in Forever that he requested to showcase them even more in Batman and Robin. Not Robin.
Wait. Showcase them?
Yes.
What is that?
Well,
Like with accent lighting or?
Yeah, well, this is what he did.
He
Even though
loved them so
Fernandez
much.
didn't want to go in that direction, he said, but quote, he's the boss. So we sharpened them, circled them, and it all became kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then we had George Clooney wear a wet T-shirt over the bat suit. It
Yes.
was very tasteful.
With sharpened nipples.
This is like another bat weapon. My bat nipples.
Yeah.
We have a couple of comments here.
Oh, yeah.
Marcus requests that the first show back from the break, so obviously we need to come back, is Will in full linen. all
Full linen.
episode.
Full thing. All the way through.
You know,
Oh, go
Yeah, go
ahead.
ahead. What's that?
Kathy's son loves the nipple costumes. Even the 12-inch dolls had them.
is that right? Huh. Well, I guess they would if they're going to look like it.
Probably not sharpened because they were for kids. They were blunted nipples somewhat, I expect.
Well, in a prototype, the nipples are much sharper. But then some other kid was hurt by a different doll that had sharp nipples, and then the company had to rethink the whole thing.
That's right. It just
the
takes one kid getting slashed by a Tickle Me Elmo with
Yes.
sharp nipples. That's you ruin it for everybody.
The prototypes are worth a fortune, though. Joe says he didn't realize there'd be so much nipple talk.
Tickle me.
Now,
I had
Joe,
no idea either, Joe.
Joe, does that mean that you're glad you're listening, or did you find what you were looking for, or maybe you're dead?
You're pleasantly surprised. I'm hoping, Joe. Right?
He's still here.
It's like I had no idea there'd be so much nipple talk. This is spectacular.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what he could be saying, right? I don't know. All right, let's.
There,
spin
well, there
likes
were
it.
there were nipples in the '80s and often featured prominently. So I think it's applicable in this show.
That's true. There's a lot. Yeah, there was the era for gratuitous nipples.
I've seen Trading Places
Oh,
in
my
slow
gosh,
motion.
But on pause. Joe says, but I like it. There you go. Great.
He likes it.
We're
Yeah.
where you belong.
Awesome.
All right, let's see
like
what else
you,
we could talk about here. All I want is the truth. Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Will,
I know what this is.
Will,
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Will.
Yep.
You can't handle the truth.
Oh, okay. I thought I'm not doing it. I thought you were telling me not to do something because I'm not doing it.
No. I was just telling you couldn't handle the truth. That was all.
Cat is still
It's
not doing the thing.
doing
that-
it. It's telling me to press Shift +6.
No.
That was
Cat,
that
take
was
your
so,
cursor.
so worth it.
Don't you just click on us with the mouse down below?
No, I've never done it before.
You don't just hover over our pictures with the mouse.
Well,
No?
Kyle said Johnny Switchblade would
take it.
battle this
no.
bat's well.
Johnny Switchblade. I know what that is, Kyle. What is Johnny Switchblade? Huh. And how do you
Oh.
To the
pronounce it?
internet.
Yeah, just,
is that one of those, Doug?
no, it's not. Oh, it could be. Yeah. Oh, is that what it is, Kyle? Is it like Doug
It's like,
reach
it's
around?
like
and-
Johnny Flyswatter. It's Johnny
Or
Switchblade.
Slice Water.
Of
That's
course.
what. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably what that is. All right. No, I think it's a. SNL. Oh yeah, I knew it was a toy. It was a toy parody, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right.
there
So
we
per
go.
variety, the Outsiders, Johnny Switchblade. They were all Johnny Switchblade, right? That was the family.
right.
Now look, this is a 1994 song, but Mariah Carey is an 80s kid. So we're talking about this also because it's just a fascinating story. And it just came out. So per variety, Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas" story is BS, according to her co-writer. So, by the way, again, does it surprise anyone? This song is in the top 100 again, like this year, this Christmas season, every year. And it's not a bad song.
No, it's a good song.
But over the years, Mariah Carey's recounted a heartwarming tale of how her smash hit came to be. And here it is. She was sitting around the tree as a child, listening to It's a Wonderful Life, when she felt inspired to tap out a few notes on a Casio keyboard. The result was one of the most famous Christmas tunes of all time. But Walter Afanasieff, let's just say Walter Levy, so we can know we're all on the same page.
Heavey.
Heavey.
Walter Heavey. Walter Afanasieff, I'd say Afanasieff, okay. A Grammy-winning songwriter who collaborated on many of Carrie's biggest hits called that story a tall tale on a Thursday on an episode of a podcast. Hot Takes and Deep Dives. Afanasieff said he and Carrie created the song together in the 90s, and that Carrie acknowledged that until about 15 years ago when her story started to change. Quote, she doesn't play anything. She doesn't play keyboard or piano. She doesn't understand music. She doesn't know chord changes and music theory or anything like that. So to claim that she wrote a very complicated chord-structured song with her finger on a Casio keyboard when she was a little girl is kind of a tall tale. End quote.
There you go.
And I love It's a Wonderful Life. I don't know what sort of song that would inspire and how it would get from there.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, old beautiful building alone. You know, I mean, that's a song right there.
Right.
You know?
It's like she heard that was a traditional movie to watch at Christmas, and
Yes.
Right.
yeah,
And
sentimental.
Casio was a brand of keyboard.
Yes.
It was that one or the Santa on 34th Avenue or whatever that was called.
Yeah.
Way to go, Mariah. So she
Afanasieff-
made it up.
Yeah.
She tried to just steal credit from the co-writer. That's
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
is she not famous enough or hasn't made enough money off of it without taking full credit?
I guess it's more heartwarming if it wasn't just the result of two folks in the music business sitting down trying to figure out how to make a hit and make a lot of money. I don't know.
I guess.
Afanasieff has groused for a while now about Carrie's apparent snub, telling Variety in 2019 that he hadn't spoken to her in more than 20 years.
Wow.
That's why her story changed.
Yeah, and a lot
Screw that guy.
It is. Look, I didn't study music theory for very much long at all, so I can't ever articulate exactly what's happening. But just like a lot of Christmas songs, that is in one key, and then they throw in a chord change that is not in the same key. I think it's a sixth. It's called a something sixth. We need cousin Mike on the show. Where is Maestro Mike? Whatever.
Michael
All
Bratt.
right. Mike Bratt, yeah. All right. No surprise she lied. Well known to be unpleasant. Is that right, Marcus? I didn't know that.
Whoa.
Well, Marcus also writes, it broke a record in the last few days. Spotify most streams in a day. 21 million?
Man.
Holy crap. All right, let's see
It's
what
all
else we
those
can
Christmas parties.
talk about today.
And not
here.
one of them was for me, guaranteed.
Oh. Blade Runner series.
Oh.
Okay. Look, we've had the opportunity to talk here and there about Blade Runner before. I don't remember if you guys are fans of the film. I know Kat said she was going to watch it.
I did. I saw Blade Runner during the shutdown
Okay.
a couple years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I only just saw it a few years ago. In fact, we did a video years back because I was a Blade Runner virgin, and Mo is like the biggest fan ever.
Wow.
And he could not believe, he was incredulous. So I also saw it just in the last 4 years or so, 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I'm hoping you guys saw the final cut. Imagine Mo would
Director's
have told
cut,
you to
whatever
do
it's
that.
called.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the director's cut. It's called the final cut.
I'm not
Came out in
certain.
2007.
Okay.
Yeah.
say so.
So it turns out, and then later in 2017, we had a sequel, Blade Runner 2049, which was set some many years in the future. And actually, it's a pretty good sequel, I think, to the
Is it?
original film. Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
It's a similar tone. It's
Yeah.
got connections to the original. It's not in that way that sort of John talks about. It's like connected to it, but it advances the story.
Sure.
Anyway, I don't want to spoil it for you because if you love the first movie and you remember enough about sort of some of the questions it raised, it's a pretty neat sequel.
I was most impressed by the fact that although it was decades later, it still felt like the same universe. It didn't feel like a super updated chromium kind of, like a Star Wars prequel problem. It felt like the same world. So that was great.
Yeah. Yes. Good point.
I would watch it. I wouldn't say I was in love with Blade Runner, but I don't know. It's definitely thought provoking.
Yeah, I mean it's it's what it is, right? It's like a neo noir, I suppose, for certainly Neo at the time. In the second film, the sequel is very much that vibe. So yeah, if you like a noir, you do. If you don't, you got to kind of be in a mood for it, I suppose.
Yeah.
But Amazon, it turns out, has formally ordered a Blade Runner sequel series.
Oh wow.
The live-action limited series titled Blade Runner 2099 was first announced as being in development back in February when Ridley Scott first revealed the show was in the works in November of 2021, so over a year ago. Everything is under wraps right now, but of course the title indicates that it's set some 50 years after that sequel that I just mentioned. The original Blade Runner, as we were talking about, was directed by Ridley Scott. It's considered one of the greatest and most influential science fiction movies of all time, and it's based on it's loosely based on a story by Philip Dick. What else can I tell you? That film was released in 1982. Harrison Ford. You got your Rutger Hauer. You've got your Sean Young. Edward James Olmos is in it, playing an Asian guy. That really wouldn't fly today.
I know.
What else? It may or may not be a dream, some of it, or he may be an android or may not be an android.
And who's the? I'm drawing a blank. Who's the actress? Was one of the other?
Daryl Hannah's in it.
Daryl Hannah. Thank you.
Daryl
Yeah, I was drawing a blank. Yeah.
And was it William Sanderson is in it?
Yeah.
Attorney turned actor. Was,
Daryl Hannah. She did not have hair over the crack of her butt like she did in Splash on Disney Plus.
Huh.
Right.
She didn't. But do we see her butt
No.
at all?
Oh, she does some gymnastics, and I'm not a bare butt. Yeah. I'm just mentioning that she was.
See, Kat, if we know where
I
you
don't
can
think-
find Jamie Lee Curtis's nipples, we know if Daryl Hannah's butt was seen in Blade Runner. These are the contemporary films, you know.
We were
Just
just
another.
talking about nipples. We might as well go to.
We're just trying to get some more
butts
nipple
and-
talking here for you, Joe.
Yeah.
That's all.
No,
I
I
know you
think,
like it.
speaking of nipples, I think we see another woman that's in it. Joanne. Oh boy,
Oh boy.
Joanna. Joanna.
Oh,
Huh.
Marcus is wait whatting.
Come on, somebody help me out
Just
here.
woke
What's he
back up.
talking about, Marcus?
Let me
I don't
type
think
it
I
in
named the
here.
actress. I don't remember.
Joanna
Autocomplete.
Cassidy. Joanna
There you go.
Cassidy.
Cassidy.
Yeah,
Did you do Blade Runner Joanna and it came right
I
out?
did. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good job.
But anyway, you can see her naked boobs in that too if you want. All right, but anyway, you know, and actually pretty cool in that director's cut is one of the scenes, 1980s Nipples Now, Joe has renamed the show. Yeah, that's a good one. Nipples Now. I like the alliteration of that.
Joe wasn't even here for
Seeing
the
ladies.
start when I was talking
I,
about my
Kat,
sweater.
I
Yeah.
have tossed out so many jokes tying it back to the sweater thing. I thought, no, that's not appropriate.
But I did.
Starring
Yeah,
new
okay,
co-host
you could do it.
Henry Rest.
Yes, that's right. Joe wasn't here for the beginning when you were yes. But you know, in the 2017 version, Joanna Cassidy, it was funny because in 1982 when the film came out, there was clearly a stunt double that does her death scene. So when she gets shot, she winds up running through these panes of these glass
yeah.
windows, these
Yeah, yeah.
stores.
Yeah,
I remember as a kid thinking it was hilarious because suddenly, much like in what was it, the ending of Flashdance, when you know you've got Crazy Legs is one of the dancing doubles, and so suddenly
Yes.
there's a man dressed in a leotard. Anyway, in this scene, Joanna Cassidy, a very beautiful woman, running, and then suddenly a very stocky man, or maybe stocky stunt woman, crashing, and then it finally falls down, and it's this gorgeous actress again. They went back for 2017 and they had her film it again and they took her
yeah?
face off and stuck it on the stunt double. So now it looks like it's really her going through the glass and everything. It's perfect.
Oh, wow.
Really fantastic. Yeah.
That's a good edit.
Anyway.
We have another request
Yeah.
from Marcus.
Okay.
First show back from the break. New
Yeah.
name for the show. I think
Okay.
he wants the name Joe.
Joe's suggestion. Yeah.
1980s nipples now. There you go, Marcus. Everything.
Hey.
It's all done now.
Welcome back.
All
Oh,
right. What's up?
John. I don't know what that was. Stick with future Robert.
Oh,
I'm
what about his
sorry.
other voice he was doing that?
Yay, there he is.
Let's see what we got here. Hager. Hager is, I'm going to stick with it. Hager.
It's
someone
pronounced
can Google it.
Havy.
Someone can look it up. Hager. Yeah, Hager. Hager Easter egg. There you go. Sammy Hager. Spots.
I thought you meant Hager the Horrible.
Hager.
No,
Hager.
I meant Sammy Hager. See, I knew it was going to
Hager.
work out in the end. Sammy Hager spots a fun Easter egg in Top Gun Maverick. And I say, duh, Sammy. I mean,
Okay.
really? This is an Easter egg? Haven't we known about this for 40 years now? Or whatever, it's fine. So Top Gun Maverick is, it's this film. It's filled with tons of homages to the earlier films, certainly, and had a very, as we talked about before, a very 80s vibe, which in itself was a throwback to, But the Red Rocker shared a clip from the blockbuster sequel to Twitter, pointing out that there's an I Can't Drive 55 sticker on Maverick's motorcycle. Hager wrote, quote, "My album Danger Zone came out 6 years before Kenny Loggins' theme song for the first Top Gun, but look what made it into the sequel, Top Gun Maverick. Good to see everything about Maverick's motorcycle stayed the same over the last 36 years," end quote. All right, well, why was I crapping on Sammy Hager? I don't know.
I don't
You
think
felt like-
that's an Easter egg. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I
a
guess that's what it
thing.
is. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not like you'll never get this reference to this famous song on this sticker that's clearly labeled. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
guess
get why
that's
he
what
would
it
enjoy
is.
that.
Right,
yeah,
right, right. Yeah, it's not an Easter egg. It's
Yeah, it's like-
Although, you
Cool
know, John,
feature.
here we go. Deep cut.
oh,
well, you know what? Maybe I was watching his video. So it turns out this sticker was on the bike in the '86 film. Although I looked through some clips of the film to see if you could see it clearly. I couldn't find where you could. I wasn't watching it on TV. I was watching it on YouTube or something. So it was pretty small. But there's a clear shot when he's driving to Kelly LeBrock's house on his bike, and yeah, you can't really there's not an angle where you can make it out. So maybe there's a different scene. But anyway, I found this video from, I think, January of 2020 where a guy was rebuilding the Kawasaki GPZ 900R, which was the first bike, by the way, that Kawasaki had promoted as a Ninja. Do you remember in the 80s?
yes.
They had Ninja motorcycles.
Yep.
Yeah.
This was the first Ninja because everything Ninja was hot, right? I mean,
Oh,
Was
yeah.
cooler. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
but this guy had one and he was remaking it to look just like the Mavericks bike. And he had all the stickers. He said, look, I didn't have to research the movie. I just had to Google what stickers do I need. And someone had a thing. I just bought the kit. And he's talking about all the stickers. And he said, look, he even has this one with 55 crossed out because at the time the speed limit was 55.
Yeah, yeah.
And he left it at that. And I thought, well, this doofus doesn't know what it is. So maybe in that sense it is an Easter egg. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, if there had been a Hager the Horrible sticker on,
Yeah,
now
now
that would
there you
be
go.
that'd be
Yes.
an Easter egg.
Yes. Hey, you're horrible.
Now, it turns out this Ninja bike that was affectionately called the GPZ in 1985 was a pretty breakthrough for the time. It was a I don't know what any of this means, a sub-liter sports bike. It was the first bike to be able to break 150 miles per hour. So it seemed like it would have been the right choice for a Top Gun pilot at the time.
Sure.
For someone with a need for speed.
Yes.
She did it.
She did it. Goodbye, everybody.
Can't follow that.
If you haven't seen the film as of December 22nd, it's available for streaming on Paramount Plus now, certainly in the U.S., and I think they've opened it up since to other places in the world. All right, hey, guys, we've been talking for, I don't know, almost an hour. Should we just say goodbye? Or we can't get through all these stories. We'll be here for 2 hours.
Let's do one more.
You want me to tell you what I have left, or
Yeah.
should we leave it to the wheel? There's just something you want to
Let's
hear?
leave it.
You wanna-
Leave it
The
to the wheel.
wheel.
We
It's all
started
about
with the wheel. We die by the wheel.
All hail the wheel.
All right. Mighty Wheel, tell us what's the next thing we're going to
We're going to call you Wheel from now on. Hey, Wheel.
My name is Wheel.
we go.
Elfman is humble.
Humble.
We knew that already.
I guess I'm thinking about Elfman because we talked about Burton, because I can't think of one without the other.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
felt like we talked about
Yeah.
Elfman already, but. So Danny Elfman didn't think that Trent Reznor or anyone would work with him. So what seems like a reunion of two long-lost brothers. And of course, we're talking about Danny Elfman because he is a composer. You know, John mentioned him, I think, as one of the, when we talked about John Williams. Like, aside from John Williams, who do you think about as composing the films in the 80s that are most iconic to you? And Danny Elfman is definitely one of them. But it seems like a reunion of two long-lost brothers. Iconic composer Danny Elfman recently spoke about his collaboration with Nine Inch Nails' Trent Reznor. If you're not aware, they worked together for Elfman's remix album of his 2021 LP Big Mess, the appropriately named Bigger Messier, which along with Reznor features Iggy Pop, Zach Hill, Boris, Square Pusher, Health, and more. Some of those just sound like nouns, like... All right,
Yeah.
okay. Anyway, Reznor appears on 4 mixes on this Bigger Messier, and Elfman recently told Consequence just how over the moon he was to have such a star-studded list of collaborators to work with. Quote, I love the idea of it, but I thought no one would want to work with me. No one knows who the fuck I am. The next thing I know, I'm on the phone with Square
Incorrect.
Pusher, and I'm on the phone with Zach Hill from Death Grips, and then suddenly it's Trent Reznor and Iggy Pop. Like, what the fuck? I'm constantly surprised that anybody's ever into anything I do. I just consider myself lucky because I'm not happy doing one type of music, end quote. Yeah. And
That's wild. That's
Yeah. It's like, do you know who you are?
yeah.
You're
So you-
Danny Elfman, dude.
You know what this
I
has me
love that,
thinking?
though. I love the modesty.
Like, nobody knows who I am. So, saying there's a chance.
You're humble. That just you're humble. That's all. it
Just
is.
as I'm
You think
humble
No
and
one knows
Trent
you.
Reznor,
Yeah.
I'm here. All right, is that it? Was that it, or is that too fast for you? Let me see if there's anything else. Richard, let me see if there's anything worth spinning the wheel over.
Let's ask the eyeballs.
Is there anything
all
else?
these eyeballs left over.
Anything
Shall we
else
keep
nipple
going?
related?
There you go.
Who's
Is
there?
anybody else out there on the comments that could say whether we should continue
Kimberly,
with another
Marcus,
story?
Joe? Where's Kathy?
Really don't know.
I don't
All
know
right,
if
no
Lucy's
one's
still
responding.
there.
So
No one's
they're
answering.
probably leaving it
Lost
running
it.
in the background, so we have eyeballs, and it's a nice
Kyle,
lift of our
Kyle,
spirits.
Michelle.
Do more, Marcus says.
Oh, Marcus says do more.
Marcus
All
says
right,
do
Marcus.
more.
He's the boss, so there we go.
No,
All right,
no.
let's do
Marcus says do more.
Oh, do more.
Oh,
I don't
He
more.
says do more. Oh,
Do
Kyle's
more.
good for more.
Marcus
All
is Italian. Do more.
All right, we're gonna. I don't know Italian, but I'm gonna figure that translates to whatever this is. Oats'
Oh.
stash returns.
right. Jason
Do mo.
says do
Jason
mo.
says.
Do mo.
All right. So look, if you grew up listening to Hall and Oates like we did,
Oh,
certainly
yeah.
throughout the 1980s, many of their images, including on their album covers and in music videos, features two things. One, Daryl Hall has a mullet, essentially, right? I mean, or maybe just long hair.
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
And John Oates has got a mustache.
Oh,
He got
yeah.
a sizable.
Like a porn stash.
almost
Like
a porn-
a
yeah.
nice thick.
Yes.
Yeah. Like
Right.
a
Yep.
like a giant caterpillar on his upper lip. Yeah. It's awesome.
Definitely trademarky for him. Yeah.
Trying to think how I can edit John saying porn. I got porn. I got him saying something about like a giant caterpillar.
You got nipples. Many times I said nipples.
Sharpened nipples. George Clooney I got in there.
Should I conjugate it? Will have been
Oh.
nippling. Have been nippling.
There's now you have the word conjugate.
When I dump this into the AI.
It's serpentine early on. You can work that in.
Serpentine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Little soundboard. You should have a great time.
Per the Rolling Stone, John Oates and his mustache are back and bushier than ever. So wait a second.
Well, wait. Both his
Yes,
stash
exactly.
and he are bushier than ever. I didn't need to know that part.
That's exactly what I was thinking. This is the
Wow.
Yeah.
Manscaped, brother. The 70s are past.
So with a new batch of songs now, with a new
Wait.
batch of.
I don't get that one. What?
I was thinking it was a new batch of hair, maybe. I don't know. With a new batch of songs, a 74-year-old Hall of Famer and Hall & Oates co-founder explains why he's growing back one of the pop culture's most cherished artifacts.
Artifact.
Artifact.
I love how a mustache is an artifact.
Yes, it's like a Smithsonian. His first mustache is in the Smithsonian. And it's like, get me out of here, you sons of bitches! It's
We
sentient.
made a wrong turn from
Can
nipples.
somebody
Marcus.
come shave Oats, please?
Yes.
Leave the stash, but everything else needs to go.
What I didn't realize is how long the stash has been gone.
I
Because in my mind, there,
yeah.
one. On December 21st, 1990, John Oates finished a set at Japan's Tokyo Dome and looked in the mirror, and he couldn't stand what he saw. For years, the Hall & Oates co-founder's mustache had become a cultural icon in its own right. The bushy, raven-colored gem, this is all Rolling Stone's poetry here, that optically landed somewhere between adult film star who butchers all his lines and 1980s drug kingpin who smirks while ordering your death. Now it was a symbol of what Oates considered years of bad decisions. He shaved it that night and moved on with his life. Wow.
Oh man.
I didn't realize that Oates was still relevant, nor have I seen him in decades. So
Yeah.
I this is the first I'm hearing of removal of the stash, and I'm
Right.
not too torn up about it because now it's back. So
You're not torn up about it.
Yeah, Marcus says it's a little unsettling seeing him without it. I
Yes,
agree.
It is weird.
It
yeah.
is.
Totally
He's not.
weird.
That's not my Oates.
yeah, it's like CMB without a hat. It's weird.
Do it.
yeah.
Do it.
Maybe in February.
Let's all take off one item of clothing.
Okay, I did it.
Attempts.
Yep, I got mine off.
I need
We
proof,
did it.
John. I need proof of life.
We broke Will. Excellent.
I need to see the proof.
Show success.
And I don't mean stand up, John. You can just hang the article of clothing for us.
Marcus.
Marcus is voting.
He's voting. Hey, listen, you're in charge of if we do more
That's right.
news, but
Attempts to resurrect the brilliant bristles have veered from celebratory induction into the Mustache Hall of Fame, alongside Salvador Dali, Tom Selleck, and Theodore Roosevelt, to cringeworthy. A 2010 animated show called J-Stash that featured Oates fighting crime alongside a profane version of his mustache voiced by comedian Dave Attell.
Wow.
Only a trailer was ever made for that, though.
oh man.
But now the stash is back, and the human as well. The singer-guitarist returns today with Pushin' a Rock, the first of 6 new songs scheduled for release monthly in a new deal with distribution company The Orchid. So this is a story from November of this year. As part of the push, Oates has become an ambassador for Movember, to raise awareness of mental health, cancer, and other causes. He did this the best way he knew how. He threw away his razor.
Oh,
So,
nice. It's like burn
know-
your bra, but for dudes.
And the reality is though, because I looked, because I wasn't been following him. He went from stash in 1990 to no stash, and then in recent years he's had a goatee. So in October of this year, he had a goatee. So really, what he did was shave the rest of his goatee. So he didn't grow the mustache.
Right.
He lost the goatee, or whatever the bottom portion of the goatee is called.
But because it was a goatee, he had that full coverage, and he just had to
Yes.
trim around, and so he had the the big deep oat stash. So
Oat stash.
And I don't
Makes it
know if
easier.
it's very oaty. Yeah,
Like
I don't know if I don't know if he's dyeing it or not. But this bottom part is very, and I know my mustache is darker than the rest, but his bottom part of his beard is white, like solid
yeah.
white, and this
Yeah.
is still darker. So yeah, as soon as he shaved that white off, boom.
Yeah.
Now, in the end of this story is, as of after November, he's grown back the rest of the goatee now. So he's back to looking like he's looked, last few years as far as I know.
For
yeah,
however long she is.
little just for men fixes it. It's no problem. Yeah, throw it right in.
All right, that's plenty of stuff, right? We're down
I
to
don't know.
three stories left.
I'm getting heavy.
We've been talking for an hour. All right, we could do 3 stories quickly. Let's just do them all.
Yeah,
Should we
let's
do them
do
all?
it. Let's do it.
Let's
You guys got you
Take
guys got a minute?
2022 out. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's see. Let's spin the wheel again. Get it off of Oates' stash.
Stash.
We'll do all the stories.
Ah,
Joel and Joe pour some
sugar.
pour some sugar. Gotta really make sure your palate around that, your teeth. So on July 9th, a scheduling coincidence allowed for the Piano Man to pour some sugar at Detroit's Comerica Park. Now they should have written to say pour some sugar on Joe Elliott. Then you would have my attention. Billy Joel's concert at the baseball stadium came the night before Def Leppard and Motley Crue's The Stadium Tour. So halfway through Joel's performance, he introduced the night's special guest, Def Leppard frontman Joe Elliott, who romped through a faithful rendition of his band's 1987 hit, Pour Some Sugar on Me, with Joel and his 8-member band before the more than 38,000 fans at the park.
That's cool.
So I got a little bit of it here to play for you here.
Oh yeah.
Now,
Not bad.
and it goes on like that. I was a little disappointed. Billy Joel's not singing at some point. They're not. It's not really mixing it up. It sounds like it
Okay.
could very well have been Def Leppard for me.
Right. Right.
Yeah, right.
Like, what's the point of having Billy Joel collaborate with you on this if you're
Yeah.
it's gonna
yeah.
still be there?
Yeah, it just sounds like it sounds like a live version of "Pour Some Sugar on Me." Really, it doesn't
Yeah.
sound like anything Billy Joely in there. Yeah,
No.
give me some
was the
Piano
third-
Man in the middle. Tinkle, tinkle, tinkle while you're pouring
do
sugar. Yeah,
something.
Tinkle,
It was the
tinkle.
third time the duo have teamed up to perform the song, following a 2018 appearance at Boston's Fenway Park and a 2019 visit to Madison Square Garden. It was a no muss, no fuss performance, with Elliott wearing a black and white leopard skin jacket, greeting the crowd with a simple evening before cranking into the song. He was animated throughout, coming to the very front of the stage, and at one point exchanging smiles with Joel throughout.
Aw, that's so sweet.
BFFs.
Yeah. All right.
What are we doing? Are we down to 2? What do we have?
Yeah, we're down at 2. So I mean, look, they're both getting done, but I guess
Flip
let's
a
see who
coin.
gets
What do
done
we got?
first here, right? Reeve quit Supergirl. There you go.
I can't quit you.
So I actually didn't know this story, and it's one of these things that it's old news in a sense, because apparently this was something known. I think in this is from Screen Rant. I think they point out. Well, maybe not. I thought they referred to the documentary that they had. This had brought this to their attention. But anyway, it predates 2022, so in that sense, it's old news. But it's new to me because I wasn't aware of this. But so apparently, Christopher Reeve passed on a planned Superman cameo in 1984's spinoff Supergirl. Look, I don't have to tell you folks, in 1978, we saw the big screen debut of Superman, and we believed a man could fly. I did believe a man could fly. I believed it was real. But I also believe like Batman was real and those folks were real. But it inspired me to take my sister's blue leotard from her recital she had done playing a parakeet and start wearing it under my clothes.
I love that.
I also attached to the front of it a yellow lightning bolt and called myself Blue Lightning, which is probably a name I cribbed off of some others.
Nice.
But,
Blue lightning.
I wanted to be ready at a moment's notice. Now, my mom took me school shopping for shoes that fall when I was wearing the costume underneath, ready to fight crime at the local mall. And to her shock and surprise, when the shoe salesman removed my shoe, as one does, to help me try on a new shoe, she saw that glowing blue color that clearly was not a sock she had ever purchased for me, and I'd only seen once before, and looked at me with such awe and dismay.
Dismay?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Anyway,
And she said,
I-
Will, I love you no matter what.
no, she didn't say that.
No? Okay.
She didn't have to say anything.
Oh.
But
You knew she loved you no matter what.
no, what I knew is
Oh.
I can't wear this anymore because I'm gonna be in trouble. But even more so, my secret identity was out, and so I had to do something
Yeah.
to throw her off the scent.
Man. Yes.
So that's really what happened there. Joe says,
Yes.
check under Will's clothes right now. Yeah. Well, you know what, Joe? I had it on but earlier when we stripped off a piece of clothing.
Did the blue lightning
Missed
have a
sir.
cape?
No, no capes.
No,
cape.
because
No
I
cape.
just to kind of for some camaraderie, I will tell you that I happen to know that
Yeah.
when you're secretly wearing some sort of super suit under your clothing, it's tough to find some place to put the cape
Okay.
because it
yeah.
bunches up in your shirt or you tuck it in
Okay.
your pants and then because
You have a bustle. Yeah.
because I had a Greatest American Hero outfit that I would wear under my clothes every once in a while. So I'm with you. I'm with you. I didn't steal anybody's tights for it though. It
No,
was just
no.
no, but it did have a cape. You got
Wow.
I had Wonder Woman underoos.
Did you
no
wear-
cape
well,
there
you-
either.
No
You
cape.
should
That
wear
was
them. I
easy.
was gonna say, did you wear them under your clothes? That's why they were made. You know.
All the time.
They're
Yeah.
called underoos, Will.
Well,
Did you ever wear underwear under your clothes? How weird.
But I also used to just wear those.
Yeah.
That's it around the house.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I had the Spider-Man ones myself.
Ah,
For some reason,
Marcus
I thought
has
they
a new
were.
request. I haven't heard what it is yet, though.
Is it?
It's John returns with an oat stash.
We
Oh,
saw
wait,
that one.
John.
There's something new. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
mixed
something
that
coming.
up.
It's incoming. New request incoming.
currently being
something
drafted.
Coming. Something coming. Okay.
No, Joe. Blue Lightning did not have nipples. John, did your Greatest American Hero have nipples on his costume? Well, I had
Not on his
nipples.
costume. I mean, anatomically, yes, just not on the costume.
Yeah, I don't know if my nipples had come in yet, though. I was still pretty young. The nipples, are they there when we start? Well, much like Joel Schumacher's films, they became more pronounced as they went on.
As time goes on.
As time
yes.
Will really grew into his nipples later in life.
We got the new, they were sharpened and circled. Oh, Marcus says, Greatest American Hero, the Johnny versions. All right, there you go.
Gotta go. Okay. So all these are.
I
So I
don't know
got
what that means, but
I got an oat stash and a Greatest American Hero costume. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So, look, from my perspective at the time, Christopher Reeve was Superman. I believe
Sure.
he was Superman so much so
yeah.
that I think I've said this before. If a couple of years later, a few years later, when I finally saw him in something else, Death Trap, I was like, holy shit, he's an actor? And but that, I mean, at that point, I credit that with one of the things that inspired me to want to act, because I was a little bit older at this point and could appreciate that someone could pull that off. It was pretty, I don't know, surprising and inspirational to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, while Superman 2 was another success, the fortunes of the saga took a downturn with Superman's 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Superman 3, of course, brought in a comedian, Richard Pryor, to play a hacker, and it became like a wacky comedy, so inconsistent with the tone of the first two films. Although we do know that the second film, Richard Lester took over for Richard Donner because the producers of the film felt like Richard Donner wasn't making the film wacky enough, and Richard Lester wanted to put in all these gags in. So a lot of this slapstick and gags in Superman 2, including, if you remember, like during that big battle when he's fighting the trio from the Phantom from the Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
They blow over a telephone booth and a guy's still on the phone while the
Yes.
phone booth. That's all Richard Lester's nonsense.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, Superman 4 was even worse, unfortunately. And that had to do with the series and Mark Reeves' last appearance as the
Quest
hero.
for Peace? Is that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure I ever saw that very last one. I was all
Yeah.
about
Don't-
the first two.
don't- Yeah, don't
Okay.
see that
Oh,
one.
there you go.
No, yeah, you're not missing anything.
No.
No one's going to reference it. It's not like a paragon of pop culture.
Yeah.
You're not going to
Other
make jokes
than its
about
name.
it for me to laugh at and not understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done it several times in this show.
Yeah. I think at the time Christopher Reeve wanted to make a film that made a statement with regard to disarming a nuclear armament. With sort of a de-escalating nuclear tensions that
Right,
were,
right.
were high,
Yeah.
pretty high in the 1980s. But the film ultimately it doesn't have much of a budget, and so the effects are terrible, and it's not well written, and it's just. He's fantastic in it. He always, his portrayal of Superman is really. We didn't have this. Mix of we didn't have such a distinction between Superman and Clark Kent until Christopher Reeve. If
Yeah.
you remember in the 50s or
Yeah.
60s, the black and white TV show, George Reeves, who played him, it was pretty much either he was the same character, just had glasses and a suit on.
Yeah, and Clark Kent almost didn't have anything to do in those early in the television show. He was just sitting in the Daily Planet waiting to jump out the window. Like there wasn't much Clark Kent story going on.
Yeah.
He was just waiting to be Superman, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, Christopher Reeve, a Juilliard trained actor, who was roommates with Robin Williams at the time he was in Juilliard.
Whoa.
He made a decision that he wanted to make them very distinct, and I believe he modeled Clark after, I think it was Cary Grant, somewhat Cary Grant, but made him more nebbishy and nerdy, and
Yeah. Yep.
it's amazing. Even just how he holds his body and his mannerisms, his voice is so different that as he takes off the glasses in scenes, you see him
my gosh.
transform.
Yes.
Oh.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yep.
so
I love it.
fantastic actor, underused certainly in Superman 4 or system. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Supergirl, Helen Slater, they decided they're going to make a Supergirl spin-off film that's in between Superman 3 and Superman 4. Helen Slater is cast as his cousin, which is consistent with the comic books, who comes to Earth. And I think in most stories, she actually came to Earth before him, but she was. No, but this is going to be too wonky. Scratch all that. Anyway, she faces off against Faye Dunaway's character. Originally, Reeves himself was going to appear in the film as Superman. The story was very different than what ultimately we got. In fact, it was Christopher Reeve who suggested the director, Jeannot Svark, to direct Supergirl after Reeve worked with the director on Somewhere in Time. Another great
yeah.
film.
I watched that. Yeah.
Time travel.
But 3 months before the production began, he told the director it didn't, quote, feel right. Oh, this is via the documentary You Will Believe, the cinematic saga of Superman. And he exited the spinoff. So just 3 months before they're going to start shooting, he exits it. Superman's absence in the film is explained as him being away off Earth on a, quote, peace-seeking mission, end quote, to another galaxy. Originally, he was going to be in the film as a mentor to this cousin to show her how to use her powers before he needed to be saved after being put under a curse by a spell.
A crypto curse.
Anyway, Superman 3 came out, wasn't as what everybody had hoped it would be, and it's suspected that Reeve probably knew it wasn't going to be so fantastic because even before it was released. So
That's too bad. I would have liked to have seen his portrayal there. Something post Quest for Peace would have been nice.
yeah, and maybe
Well, no, that was before Quest.
it was before,
anyway.
but maybe
Yeah.
it would have kept
But
us
again,
from having it.
Something else, exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Maybe we wouldn't have had Quest for Peace. Maybe
maybe,
Supergirl would have been better.
Yeah.
Joe writes, that's what made Reeve's performance brilliant. His congrats between
not-
Kent and Soups.
Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be congrats,
yeah,
but
something
the,
else.
I'm sure. Yeah. Speech to text. We got you. The
Joe
transformation
says-
for sure. Yeah.
Says there's
Yeah.
that one scene where he leaves Lois and Superman when he interviewed. I know what he's talking about. When she interviews him and he leaves, and then Kent appears at the door. It's done in one shot. I think it's yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, contrast.
yeah.
There we go.
Contrast between. Yeah.
Yes, that's a fantastic shot where they use I think rear projection to be able to fool the audience. And even being aware of as many camera tricks as I am, I got to tell you, I think it wasn't until I saw a behind the scenes featurette that they showed that I was like, oh, how did I not catch that? You knew they had to do some trickery, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was pretty cool.
I thought it was an edit, honestly.
It's
Yeah.
so smooth. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
really
Oh no, it's
amazing.
Anyway,
Yeah.
and Joe, all right, contrast. Okay, there you go. All right, so there you go.
I'm still waiting for Marcus's next request.
Did we get? Oh, it was the Greatest American Hero
Oh,
costume.
the Johnny version.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, we
never
got it.
mind.
We
Well, he's
got
going
it,
to
we
have
got it.
another one, I'm sure.
Oh,
before
I
it's
wonder which one it's going to be.
Let's see
wonder.
here.
Oh,
Maybe we
no.
don't have to do any more stories. The last story, the only story. Remember how to say this? Kari, or Kampai, maybe? Kari or Kampai, maybe?
Sounds right.
So, and this is referring to Cobra Kai's Chosen. So the actor who played Chosen in the second Karate Kid film, and most recently returned to play that character in season 5 of Cobra Kai, Yuji Okamoto, used the holidays to reflect on his character's major blunder in season 5. If you remember, they had like a Inglorious Bastards type moment where you remember seeing that film where the soldier, the English soldier who's what do they call him? He's a spy. He's impersonating a German soldier. Gives what, 3? He does 3
3.
the way an English would do it versus the way the German would do it. I don't know
Okay.
which way.
Yeah,
it's
we
which.
get the 3 here versus the 3 there, or whatever. Yeah,
Okay,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And the Germans are onto him, and they realize he's a spy. Anyway, so we had that moment, like a moment like that in Cobra Kai, where when Chosen is now infiltrated Terry Silver's dojo, acting as if he wants to be one of the masters for this the current bad on the show. When they're sharing drinks, and Chosen had lied and said that he was actually from, was it Kyoto? Kyoto. Let me see.
Right.
Let's see. I got it written down here somewhere.
I watched it too fast.
Binge.
Yes.
I don't know, whatever. Anyway, the actor, here, I'll just read what it says here. At Silver's dojo, Chosen makes a toast with the Cobra Kai sensei, but accidentally says the Okinawan term, kari.
Okinawan. Okay.
This declaration blows.
Yeah.
It blows his Chosen's cover because he told Silver he came from Kyoto. Yeah, so there you go.
Right.
Where
Yes.
people say kampai. So why didn't he say that? Anyway, it's been great to see him back. He was one of my favorite characters this season because he went from this like a self-centered, immature, kid in Karate Kid 2 to be like this mature, batshit crazy, insane, but like measured,
Yes.
like amazing fighter. That's
I am
him. He's crazy. He's
gasoline.
not crazy because but he's like right. But he just wanted to just go there and just
Yes.
take care of business. It was so fantastic. But it's
Loved
funny
it.
how he accidentally burns down. Is it Mike's old
Oh
furniture
my
store?
gosh.
Mike Barnes. Spoiler alert. But anyway, yeah. And he there's a great moment too where he confides in Johnny Lawrence about his love for Komiko still.
Yes.
The character that was in Karate
Yeah.
Kid 2 that he liked. Oh. Anyway, fantastic. I hope he's going to be back for the next season.
Yeah.
We
When's
don't know how
that
many more.
coming?
Yeah, I don't know. I was going to say, and we don't know how many more seasons we're going to get, except that we're going to get another one, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was that
Yeah.
that
We better.
leak/tease/dream of motion pictures, and then more
Yes.
seasons, and we'll see how
Oh,
that
yeah,
happens.
yeah.
That's right. It was just this past September we talked about how Sony Pictures had officially announced another Karate Kid film was coming.
Wow.
Who knows what that's going to be?
Right.
All
Which
right,
continuity?
that is definitely more than enough. All right, so guys, hey, thanks for joining us for our final episode of 2022. That is us dealing with all the news stories that we skipped. So
You deserve
I
a
guess,
victory lap. Let's take a victory lap.
I guess we talked about better shows better news stories than that, I guess. I mean, some of those are pretty interesting.
It's not about the integrity of the news. It's about the integrity, entertaining value of the people delivering the news. I think that's where you are.
So meta.
We made them palatable, didn't we?
Oh, man,
Oh, there
you
we
guys
go.
love ourselves.
Palatable.
You guys love us.
I'm
Somebody's got to.
just reading Marcus here.
Yeah.
And Jason. He
Yeah.
wants us to do more
Do
tomorrow.
one tomorrow.
And Marcus misses us. He's already looking forward to.
Yes,
Well,
that's wonderful.
Well, how sweet.
I will say at least this moment for 2022. That's the show.
I'm ready.
Okay. She's
There we
teasing
go.
us. She was
Boom.
like,
Prepared.
I was waiting for my cue.
okay. Yeah.
And our show, this last one of 2022, and hopefully the next one will be brought to you every week
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well,
after January, every week. Thanks in part to our
Yeah.
early adopters like Kathy Burke, Rick Parker, and Karen Flieger. And thank you especially to our Secret of Our Success level Patreon supporters, John Henderson, Craig Coletta, Marcus Taylor, who's right
There he
here,
is.
and
Yep.
Tony Great.
yes.
Great.
Yes.
Yes. Thanks, guys, for supporting the show the way you do. And thanks for everyone who supported the show in any way, including commenting on episodes on Facebook or sharing posts. And please continue to do that. And hey, don't be a stranger. Even though we're going to be off for a few weeks in January, please reach out with your thoughts, ideas, comments, either on Facebook or email me directly. I read my emails, will@1980snow.com. We've already received some episode suggestions from folks that I'm working on, and some of them don't involve interview guests, Marcus, you'll be happy to know. But it's still going to require some work, and so I look forward to doing that and coming back to you with some new episodes at the beginning of February of 2023. Hey, guys, everyone listening, thanks for your support throughout the years. We look forward to talking to you next time on
Thank
1980s
you.
Now.
Until next time.
Bye-bye.